My name is Valeria. I live in a very small town of Donskoy, Tula region. I think if you come to my native town someday, you'll have a good time, and I'm going to be your guide. Donskoy is situated not far from the beginning of the river Don, so the town was named after this great Russian river. The first mentions about our town date back to 1571. It was called Починок or settlement Hodri. Later it was forgotten and the name Bobri Gora appeared. The symbol of the town is a beaver. These nice animals used to live here. In Russian, the word sounds as Bobr, and names of the small river Bobrik and the district of the town Bobri Gora remind you of these wonderful animals. In 1996, this part of the town was qualified as Historical Memorial Complex Bobriki. For sightseeing, it's the best attraction to start with. The history of this place begins in the 18th century when Bobri Gora was a property of Russian Empress Catherine II or Catherine the Great. She ordered to build a gorgeous country estate here and later gave it to her illegitimate child, who was the son of one of Catherine's favorites, Count Orlov. That's why her son Alexei got the surname Bobrinsky. Even there was a place for a beaver on the coat of arms of his family. All these events took place in the 1770s. Despite the fact that Catherine II was desperately generous and created such a luxurious estate for her son, Alexei didn't live here. He settled down with his family in an estate located in the town of Bogorodisk. And as the time was going by, the house in Bobri Gora, remaining just an amazing architectural monument, began to fall into decay. The palace was completed in 1776, and there was a beautiful park around it. But in the early 1840s, the palace was taken to pieces. These materials were used to build houses in a neighborhood town Yedvan. Although the palace was destroyed, you can still enjoy the wonderful greenery of the park in summer. And the white beauty and calmness of the winter scenery makes you stop for a moment and think about something pleasant. We've come to the sepulchre of Bobrinsky. According to his wife's order, Count Bobrinsky was buried in a distant part of the park, where the sepulchre was built that eventually became the family tomb. But in the days of Soviet Union, the shrine was partially destroyed. The remains of Bobrinsky were dug up and buried in a mass grave in the garden. Young people spend their free time having fun and dancing in the shrine, and only after the perestroika, archaeologists exhumed the remains of the count and helped them to return to their place. After that, the restoration of the tomb began. Now let's walk along the quiet streets of Bobri Gora, which lead us to the most remarkable place of our town, the Church of the Transfiguration of Jesus. The church, built and named in honor of the miraculous image of the Savior, is one of the well-preserved buildings of the complex. It was designed by famous Russian architect Ivan Yegorovich Starov, who was the founder of Russian classicism. The church was consecrated in 1778. In the early 1820s, this architectural monument had to face some difficult times. The bell tower was destroyed, icons were stolen, and a planetarium was built under the dome of the church. It continued until the final decade of the 20th century, and only in 1991, church services were recommenced in the restored building, the quiet dignity of which is really impressive. The next point of our road is the Museum of Local Lore. In 1780s, deposits of brown coal were found and a mine was built not far from the country estate. Therefore, the mining village was formed in this area. It got the status of the workers' camp named Donskoy in 1929. It grew into a town in September 1939 and later became an urban district. A few years earlier, Moscow Region Coal Basin Museum was opened in Gora. Its exposition was devoted to the miners and mines. Now it has a big amount of various exhibits, for example, furniture and household items from the estate of Bobrinsky, old books, documents, photographs, models of the mines, crockery and paintings, and many other things. When you come here, you feel like traveling back in time. In general, it's an interesting place that can tell the history of the area better than people. With the historical memorial complex, you can wander around the streets in Donskoy full of a big amount of monuments. For example, there is the Hall of Honor next to Donskoy Town State Administration, or I'd rather say the Hall of Heroes devoted to the soldiers who died in the various wars. Now we've come to the war memorial devoted to the saddest period in the history of our town and the country as well. You can see an impressive sculpture of two comrades, the eternal flame, and marble slabs carved with the names of the soldiers who died in December 1941 when they defended their motherland from Nazis.
Sometimes it seems to me that soldiers, while fighting on the battlefields, did not die. No longer they lie under the cold ground, but a white stork's flying free across the sky. They're still there from wars long ago forgotten,
Part of Donskoy you can see another original war memorial. It consists of an artillery weapon model, known as the gun ZIS-3, which is placed on a pedestal. A basket of artificial flowers is mounted on a recoil brake, and there is a stele with words, "Nobody is forgotten, nothing is forgotten" nearby. Amount of memorials devoted to a great patriotic war, or it's better to say to its heroes, in the area of my town. But there is another sad monument. The names of the victims and touching words "Chernobyl disaster, heroic deed" are carved on the black slabs of the monument. You can see a more positive sculpture called the Monument to Miners, which was placed in honor of the centenary of the coal production in our region. It is a figure of a worker wearing a helmet and holding a flashlight in his left hand. He stands on a pedestal and stares straight before him. The inspiration below tells us about this monument and the data of installation. Donskoy has emerged due to the fact that there were coal deposits in Bobr. That's why miners are deeply respected in this area. This fact is reflected in the image of the town. For example, there is a figure of a miner installed in the niche on the facade of the local House of Culture. And the building itself is definitely interesting. It was built in 1951. Designed in the classical style and named after Vladimir Morozov. He worked in the mine in the 1930s. At first he worked as a trolley racer, later as a driver, and then became an assistant director. The first stadium has also the name of this great man. Thus, Donskoy has preserved the memory of its heroes. You can hear a lot of inspiring and incredible stories as by walking along the streets. What's more, if you visit the estate of Bobrinsky, the feeling of quiet dignity will transfer your consciousness to the times of kings, khans, palaces and sepulchres, and leave invisible but appreciable and irreducible traces in your heart.
Донской, любимый сердцу цветущий город, дикий край. Не хватит слов, чтобы писать, как ты мне дорог. Расти, капелька, расти и процветай. Живем мы в лучшем городе на свете, тебя всегда мы будем славить. А в этот день и взрослые, и дети спешат, чтоб с праздником тебя поздравить.
Ты же уехал. Привет, все, поехали, куда? Где надо? А что? Я сам не знаю.
Нет в мире, наверное, места, где было б нам не интересно. Есть джунгли, пустыни, вулканы, большие и малые страны. Есть чудо коралловых рифов, есть храмы из сказочных мифов. Но где бы ни были повсюду, спросили бы нас вы откуда. Наш дом в Сибири просторы, наш дом Уральские горы, наш дом и Крым, и Курилы в нем. пока мы в него не вернемся, галактики вряд ли найдете дом лучше, чем тот, где живете. А если случится вдруг чудо, вас спросят, и там вы откуда? Наш дом в Сибири просторы, наш дом уральские горы, наш дом и Крым, и Курилы. В нем наша сила, наш дом Кубани станицы, наш дом родная столица, наш дом полярном сиянии, дом, где мы счастливы с вами. В мире так много красивых планет, только такой, как Земля, больше нет. Здесь наши близкие, наши друзья, здесь я родился и вырасту я. Разные люди в огромной стране, здесь побеждали,